What is up, guys? Yeah. So, right here, got my kiln. So, I'm doing these vacuum tubes, and it's a copper seal. Let me try to find something that does it. 1 second. Here we go. Like I said, doing these vacuum tubes, and it's like, you gotta put the electrode in, right? So, man, I thought I charged this piece of crap, whatever. Yeah, so I mean, it's only like, it's pretty hard to get these suckers like sealed well. And you see, like, sort of, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's sort of air gap between it, and I think it's because it starts cooling off, and just that the thermal expansion rate is just too large for the thing to like stay together or something. So I was having quite a problem with this, and this is actually not even that bad of a seal. Like, it works. It just took a long time to make it because you got to cool it down with the flame. Sort of like flame anneal. You got to cool it down really well, and then you got to put it in vermiculite or whatever. So it's a pain to make like production, because you can't really make production when you have whatever. So sort of like, man, that'd be sweet if I could just boom, 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 and then put it in the kiln. But that kiln runs at 1500 watts, and it's a top loader, so it's definitely not gonna work. And you crack the bricks if the thermal or if they cool down too quickly, sort of like glass. Not as much, but you can. So I was thinking, I have a toaster oven. Maybe it's gonna be able to. I was thinking 700 degrees. So if I get this thing down to like 1200 degrees or something, I don't know, and then put it in there, which is 700. It should drop at a slower rate. So I was like, okay. But then it's like, oh, I might want like 900. So I bought a 1-inch by 24-inch by 31-inch of this ceramic wool or whatever, like a ceramic fiber blanket. That thing right there. And that's 46 bucks, so whatever. And I already had these bricks and stuff, so I put everything together. If you look inside, crap, got a stupid propane tank right there. So it's pretty freezing out here. But yeah, that's it. Could be better, but it's just a toaster oven and thing. I was sort of like seeing what it was. So it's just like the resistance wire coil, and then there's a sheet of glass, the glass tube that goes through. I'm sort of thinking that's like quartz or something like that, and just sort of like it converts the infrared that comes off the wire. This is what I'm thinking. Converts that into like a more like infrared that like food can absorb or something like that. I don't know. Sort of like a microwave, not quite, but sort of thinking it's something like that. So, it becomes a very efficient design. I mean, I'm not sure why this glass tubes are there, but anyways, so I did that today. I got it in today. Did it today, and I was testing it with the thermocouple, and it was only getting up to like like between 700 and 800. So it's not like, I wasn't too satisfied. Now, I didn't finish all the insulation, you know, that's it. So I was thinking I could pack it in there, maybe put a little more in there. It might be good, but I mean, I started to notice that like it produces a lot of like invisible light, orange light, and I noticed that this thing would get pretty hot, but this thing wouldn't. You know, so you know, I was just thinking like maybe because it's infrared glass or light infrared, and you could put like glass in the microwave and put it in like some microwave kiln and like actually melt it. I started thinking maybe the glass would absorb a lot of the heat, and it would get up to annealing temperatures. So I put this in, and before I did, I checked out the polar scope. This is, you know, makeshift polar scope. I'll show you guys later. And I saw a big band of stress right here, and yeah, you guys could tell this thing's actually bent, but I put it in there. You know, I don't know how long, but you know, I just put it in there, whatever. And then I turned the thing off, and like, you know, 10 minutes later, I pulled it out, and it was actually really hot still. Pulled it out, and noticed that it was sort of bent. You know, 'cause I'm not this bad at glass blowing. You know, this thing's pretty bad, but right down here, this thing's definitely bent. So the glass was hot enough to at least slump or something. So I was like, sweet. I checked it out with a polar scope once it cooled down enough. No stresses. Boom. So happy with that. And I want to show you guys the effectiveness of this toaster oven. 80 bucks, because this thing's 40 bucks. Okay, for 45 bucks, whatever. Maybe with the bricks, 100 bucks, whatever. I got this. I already had this. This thing was like not being used, whatever, you know, that stuff. So I mean, under under 100 bucks. This is gonna improve my glass blowing, like everything I'm getting. Glass tank, whatever, or the oxygen tank. But I want to show you guys. Yeah, the battery's about to die though. I just freaking charged it, but whatever. I'll finish up these carrots, charge you guys, and get back out here. I'm just gonna make a marble or just a ball. Cool it down. We'll check it out in the. I might even like sort of press it against the graphite to create like a lot of stress. Show you guys that. Get you guys into my room where I have my makeshift polar scope. Show you the stresses in it. Then we'll come out here and we'll pop it in here for a little bit and check it out again. And yeah, hope you guys will be content with this. So yeah, and yeah, I'll fix that later. I'll put maybe some Kanthal, and then we'll just go like that, and it'll be super convenient. Boom. Couldn't be better. Okay, guys. So I mean, let's see. I only got like half a battery, but I blew this, or not really. did this. Just big ball glass, didn't really anneal it, so yeah, you know, just try to, there's some pieces of copper on it, so you know, there's gonna be a lot of stresses in this. And I'll show you with the polar scope. I hope you guys could see this. I don't know if you guys would be able to. Jeez, can this get any more complicated? Okay. Oh, well, that thing's just lit up. Hope you guys can see this. I mean, you can see the end of the tube right here, or like the middle. It's just constant color, but towards the end where the ball is, it's just all lit up. I mean, I got the camera pointed right at it, so you guys should be able to see this. Yeah, that is gonna be the stresses. I really hope you guys can see that. So you saw that there, and now we're gonna put this in the kiln. This thing's probably still hot, but yeah, let me get that there. So let's go put it in the makeshift kiln. Okay, here we are. There we go. And yeah, we're just gonna put this. Let's open this up. Just gonna place it right in here. Boom, perfect. Yeah, maybe not so perfect. Well, actually, let's see. There we go. Boom. Now let's get a brick. You know, it doesn't close too well, so there we go. Perfect. And yeah, let's start this thing up. So you'll see it get hot really quick. Let's put this to 30. And we just put it on toast grillage. This is the hottest. It's actually the toast grillage function on this Black & Decker. I don't think there is like a shut off. It just goes until it, you know, until you're happy with your toast. So yeah, it's just full power, continuous, no you know, nothing stopping it. So yeah, that's that. It's really cold in here, but I'll get you guys in like 10 minutes or something. I might blow some more glass or something, I don't know. So yeah. Alright guys, we'll update on this. So, you know, I just tried like moving it or whatever. I was gonna put this thing in, didn't quite work out, whatever. That's right, I don't know what this is, like Medusa, whatever. Anyways, you know, so I picked up the glove. Man, this thing was scorching. I mean, it made an indent in the glove. That's where the rod is. Yeah, it was hot. So, but I mean, you know, all those out, you know, burning the table. It actually didn't really burn the table that much. I don't really know why, but anyways, while I was doing that, you know, looked at it. It wasn't deformed, but I definitely gotta take this thing down pretty slow. So, because you know it's pretty thick glass. This stuff right here, this sucker, I mean, it's thin. So yeah, I'll leave it as that. And yeah, so the reason why this thing isn't so hot, or like not like figuratively it wasn't so hot, is because you know, I put it in, and then when the door closes, the thing just like really cranks because I have so much of that matting. And I'll show you. Freaking tripod. Whatever. Hope you guys can see that. I have so much of the matting to the door, so it is, the thing like cranks up like this. So what we'll have to do, pretty easy, just put it like that. Also maybe reduce some of it, and also make sure, you know, where I'm putting the glass is not gonna hit the light or whatever it's called. Hit the coils. Not really the coils. The elements, I guess. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, the thing was scorching hot, so I mean, I don't know how much this stuff can handle, but I'd say it's up there. I feel like it's gonna anneal, so it's definitely gonna be a lot more even if the stresses are there. The stresses are gonna be a little more even now. Yeah, so I'll give you guys. I wonder if I should just start cooling it down now. It's sort of a mistake by doing that, but I say we just cool it down. Crank that thing down to 350, and once it's there, just crank it down to like 200. Once it's there, just go to minimum. So yeah. You know what? Meanwhile, I'd say let's go check out my new ventilation system. So I changed it up. Here's my ventilation system. What do we got here? I actually just inverted the fan, flipped it, so and swapped the. I didn't actually swap the lease. Never mind. Yeah, so just did that, and so it's sucking through the tube, sucking in. I'll show you the power. Let's just get a little glove here. Doesn't look too strong. Actually, isn't incredible, but I'll show you. Yeah, I'll just show you guys. Let's jeez, what is up with this freaking tripod, man? I hope that's gonna be a good view of everything. I'm just gonna, dang it, freaking tripod again. I'm just gonna, okay, so we'll just burn some paper. Let's just get it out, and see. So you can see the smoke, and it's actually going in. I mean, that thing's right there, so of course it's gonna go in. But hopefully you guys can see that. Well, that usually gets it, Oh, here we go. Yeah, so you can sort of see. I'll just leave that right there. It's pretty good smokage. Yeah, this thing sort of sucks. I'll just leave it. I don't want to do anything too intense. We'll go with maybe a little plastic. One second. Okay, here we go. This thing is gonna burn up a lot. Yeah, so you can see right there. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, obviously the thing's right there. So, what do you expect, but yeah, I'd say it's pretty efficient, or pretty, I won't say efficient, but pretty, it does the job well, so. It's a lot quieter, I mean, it's really annoying, that stuff. So yeah, whatever. Anyways, yeah, that's how cold it is. You can see my breath in here. Freezing. Yeah, so anyways, like I said that 20 times. I'm gonna stop you guys until I get that thing out. Okay. We'll see how it is. It might be pretty hot. So hopefully not so. It seems to be radiating, but yeah, let's just bring this to my room. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, we are back, and yeah. Come on. Hopefully this is the right. Dang it. It's like every freaking time, man. Oh man, look at that. See that? Hopefully you guys see that. Let's get this over to the purple. So, I mean, you guys can see that the stresses are definitely different, especially within the tube, or there's a solid rod area. They're definitely different. So yeah, hopefully you guys you can see that. And yeah, I think it's actually fully annealed. It's sort of hard because it's like constant light. Let me try to get this situated. There's a big lens right there. Boom. Let me, dang. I'm just gonna grab you guys. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully this is good. You guys got that? Okay. Boom. Dang it. This freaking setup. Yeah, let's get the other side. We want a nice deep purple. That's probably as good as it gets, huh? Anyways, I mean, you guys can see that. It's pretty good. You know? Let me get this one. Yeah, gosh. Why is that so freaking complicated? Here, we'll just go with the... Get right in there. Nice. Okay. This is the uncolored, but you can really see the bands of stress if there was bands of stress. Hopefully you guys can see that. You know what I mean, man? It's like nothing. So, obviously this stuff is working. I don't know, that's pretty hard. Anyways, that's that. I know the video production may not have been the best. It's my current setup, but you know what? Hope you guys saw that. You know, stuff removed the stresses. This thing is fully on, only still a little hot, but things cured. Oh, dang. yeah, cured. So I'm happy with it. You know, and I didn't even like do any trials with that. Is it bending? Doesn't look like it. But it's definitely good. So that's gonna cap it off. And if you guys have any questions about it, you know, I mean, you guys can see this a blotch of copper right there. You know, I mean, it's sort of hard to tell with the irregularities and whatever in this shape and stuff like that. So you can't really tell, like, oh, if there's like any stresses around that copper, but you definitely saw that, and it has to be 1050, right? Or hey, at least it annealed it. Okay, so whatever it is, it was annealed. And so you just plop it in there and boom. And you know, start cranking it down. Now, it might be start getting a little hard to crank it down and like, I don't know. You know what? Because I'm gonna actually fully anneal everything else, but I want it to be like pretty like annealed, so that I can store it and it won't crack. Because I got, you know, 2 pieces I've made. They've you know, you get the bigger tubes and whatever, bigger faces, I guess. You know, they'll be fine for like good like 3 hours after, and then the next day there's a humongous crack through them. So you know, it's like any time it can just crack if you don't anneal it or anything like that. So I think this will really help just even heat, and then hey, it might cool down at different rates, but it's not going to be like you know, you only heated this point and to the left, you know, and then like it's all uneven or whatever. You know, it's gonna be all even heated. And then whatever. Anyways, it's probably like 7:30, and I'm gonna try to get to bed at 8. But I'll definitely have that thing running tomorrow. I'm gonna have to do some modifications so it's easy pick up and boom. Other than that, this was a very simple annealing. Very happy with it. So I'll definitely be using this. I don't know how much life I get out of those coils. You know, but it like the infrared. It's like the infrared just, the glass just absorbs the infrared pretty much. Because I mean, I don't know if you can anneal at 700 degrees for borosilicate. But that's what my thermocouple was saying. It was saying 700 degrees. So I think that thermocouple was just, you know, it wasn't, nothing was really absorbing those infrared rays. Maybe the insulation, but I think the glass was definitely doing some of that. Anyways, again, see you guys, I don't know, when I do something cool. So, adios.